Good evening once again, everyone. We're going to start the lecture for today now. Others will join because we could not wait again, seeing the time and not to inconvenience everybody. Today's class promises to be a very insightful as we'll be discussing introduction to graphic design and design principles. In this digital age, graphic design plays a powerful role in communication, from social media content to brand identity and digital storytelling. Great design helps transform ideas into visuals that inform, inspire, and engage audience. Please, as stated yesterday, kindly mute your mic, please. All right, so to guide us through today's section, we have someone who is not only skilled in this field, but also very passionate about visual storytelling. Our facilitator for today is Onyeride David Inyoluwa. So our facilitator for today is Onyeride David Inyoluwa, a motion and graphic designer known for creating purposive visual structured and creative approach to motion and visual storytelling, ensuring that every design element serves a clear and meaningful purpose. Current and engaging video you see across our social media platform are produced by Mr. David. His work consistently brings ideas to life in a way that is both compelling and impactful. He is someone who is very active, creative, and wonderful to collaborate with. So today, we are privileged to learn directly from his experience and expertise. At this point, stay engaged and get ready to learn as he takes us through the introduction to graphic design and design principles. Before I will invite Mr. David, once again, I would like to make mention of, if you are joining, please mute your mic, not to split the class into two. Secondly, those on YouTube and also those on Zoom, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the page, and also the social media, and try to follow the page and like as well. So now, permit me to welcome Mr. David Onyeride to take over.
Good evening, everyone. So, today we're into the world of graphic concepts. And we're going to be looking. We're going to be looking at how we can elements to communicate passion, emotion, and so many other things. So, I will now share my screen. So, please, if you can see my screen, let me know. You can unmute to tell me if you can see my screen.
We can see.
All right. How about now? Sorry, can you see my screen now?
Not yet. I think it's the network. Okay, yes, we can see your screen now, Mr. David.
All right, thank you very much. So, introduction to graphic design. So, I know right in your mind now you think graphics design is something common or it's just a general knowledge or something you already know about. But um, I know that if you take your time to follow us through um, this this section of You Inspire, You get to meet.
Sorry, Mr.
I
David,
mean,
please try to be audible. Your
all
voice
right.
seems a little bit low.
So I said if you follow through this section of graphics design by being inspired from Mark George, you are going to get to meet more graphics designers that are so much talented, and then will all together make you understand several ways that you can see graphics design. I mean, different perspective of graphic design, and then you will understand how broad it can be. So I would like to ask us the first question: that what is graphics design? So I want you to omit your mic and tell me what you feel about graphics design. Like what you think you can use to define graphics design, not necessarily some complex stuff, but just your own understanding of graphics design. And please don't read from the screen. You can just like I want your personal design definition. Anybody? Hello, anybody? Can you still hear me?
You can drop your comments in the chat
Come
box
again.
as well.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Fine. So, from my own perspective, I would say like design can be defined as you using images and text to portray an idea or an ideology.
Okay, thank you very much. That's very wonderful. Anybody else? Anybody else? Okay, so without wasting too much of our time, I would just like he has said, graphics design is using elements to communicate or more. But I would say graphic design is just simple as saying communication. Graphics design is using visual elements, picture, uh, icons, anything, images, text, visual elements to to communicate. So the slide says, graphics design is the art of planning and projecting ideas visually, textually, and you know, all these things are just English. So I want you to understand that. I want you to understand graphics design in such a way that when you work, when you design, when you do something, you put that definition inside it. And the most important thing is communication. See, if you design anything and then your target audience cannot say that this is what they get from what you're trying to communicate, then that's a very bad job you're doing. So, uh, without taking too much of our time, I believe by now we should understand what graphics design is. It's just using visual elements to communicate. So, so let's move to the next slide. It say rules of graphics design. Well, the rules of graphics design as they are as clear as the definition. So it is purposely delivering message clearly. Graphics design efficiently conveys message to the audience. Graphics, a graphic design is like I said, just you communicating. But then you are doing a perfect job if your message is perfectly cleared and there is no confusion. And then your design makes people understand the concept without you having to explain to them. All right. Sorry, please. I would request you to give me a few minutes. I'll be right back.
Apologies on that. We would like to
Mute
give.
me still.
Please mute your mic.
Please mute your mic.
All right, we'll be giving Mr. David a 2 minute break to fix the issues from his end so he can continue with the class. But while we wait for him, the question he asked was, who can tell him about graphic design? A few people has given just
Ọ̀gá, pàdé sọ̀rọ̀ lọ́gà tó ní ìlú.
Okay, Mr. David is back now, so I think he's going to take over. But while we wait for him, pending the time he's able to share his screen, you can drop your comments in the chat box where you talked about what is graphic design. That was the question that was being asked by David. So I think two people have given an answer to that, and we have 52. We have 52 participants on this call. We expect more answer to that question. Like, okay, what do you understand?
I'm sorry, ma. Can't we use the chat to reply some questions?
No, pending the time is going to be joining. That was why I suggested we drop it in the chat box. Is that fine?
Okay. All right, ma.
Okay.
All right, ma.
David, are you with us now?
All right. Sorry for that. I had to fix some technical issue. So
David, please unmute. We can't hear you.
okay, I said, can you still see my slide?
Yes,
All
we
right.
can see your slide.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that. So I was discussing the rules of graphics design. So I said, just like the definition, it is meant to
David,
deliver. Yes.
okay. So if you check the chat box, some replies have been given to your question where you ask them what is graphic design.
All right.
Would you want me to read
I'll
that for
just.
you?
Okay. Thank you very much.
So Amzat said it is the representation of information through art, motion, and visual representation to certain group of people. Another response is graphic design is the visual representation, communication of an ideology, event, or situation. Another response we got was graphic design is the visual representation of ideas and information. Folorunsho said graphic design is the act of conveying ideas visual, using images, words, sign, and symbol that best represents the message intended to be passed to a certain audience. Adeli said, graphics design is about creating visual content to communicate messages, tell stories like logo and posters. That's all for now.
All right. All right. Thank you very much. All those the definitions, or should I say, the extensive definitions of graphic design. Like I said, there is no wrong definition to graphic design as far as you tie it around the fact that you communicate the fact that you're communicating to somebody. So I already mentioned the fact that graphics design is the rules of graphic design is delivering message properly. So then I would also mention the fact that it helps you to create brands. So when I say brand, I know what comes to so many people's mind is logo and maybe color. So is there anybody that understands what brand is, can share it? Just one person can just unmute their mic and share it to us. So I wouldn't like to take too much of our time. So I'll just take that definition from just one person. Anybody, what you think brand is, a brand or brand identity? All right, well, let us waste our time. So a brand identity is somebody once said a brand is your brand identity is what people say about you when you're not in the room. So that's is somebody trying to say something? All right. So just like the slide says, it says that a strong graphics design establishes a distinct brand identity. So, so as a graphic designer, your job creating a brand identity for somebody is you thinking about, okay, so I am creating a brand for XYZ. Now, the question I would ask myself is, okay, what is XYZ doing? What makes XYZ different from other companies in the niche? Like other companies, let's say XYZ is a company that produces laptop. So I would say, okay, there is HP. So what are they doing? Like how do they communicate to their audience? How how will XYZ stand out compared to others? What will be the special thing about XYZ that will not go out of context, but then we still communicate something different, but then we still be within the laptop producers kind of things. So that's what you think of when you are creating a brand. And then uh, in as this class proceed, we look further into things that would consider while creating a brand. But you should know that one of the rules of a graphic design is graphics designer. You have to learn how to create emotion. You have to learn how to create connection. You have to learn how to bring imagination to people's head. You have to learn how to leave feelings with people even when they are done looking at your design. And that way you are creating a brand for would okay, let me cite a clear example. Like the XYZ you see, let's say you've created something so much that even after people stopped staring at whatever graphical elements they saw about the XYZ company, after they finish staring at it, after they finish seeing the design, they still go on their way and they are still thinking about it. That way, they stay XYZ stays in their head, and then you are able to generate leads for the brand. Now, that is why it is so important for you to create a brand identity in a distinct way. So, move to the next slide. Examples of graphics design. Well, the the real world application of graphic design is something that we see every day, or then would still have to call it out to us here because this is a class. So I'll say The examples of graphics design that will come to your mind are the usual social media design, the flyer, the posters, the billboards, uh, the banners, and even websites and product and packages. So product packaging is also part of graphics design because think of it, you just finish, you just order for, let's say, a shoe, and then on the box of the shoe it looks like they you have conflicting graphical element on it. I mean, without even opening the box, you are going to consider that maybe those people are a scam, or they probably they just take their business serious. So that's also an example of graphics design, like the product packaging, and then you can talk about the website design. There is the UI design, there is the UI UX, there is the flyer. The flyer also goes a long way. The poster, and then there's something I didn't mention in this slide, which I'd like to share with us. It is also the motion graphics. That's the video editing, the 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 explainer videos and every other things you watch. There are also types of graphics design, or I mean say examples of graphics design. So so the types of graphics design and the examples of graphics design, they settle inside each other such that if you get the types of graphic design, then you understand the examples of graphic design. So the common categories of graphics designs are the branding, like we talked about, the UI UX, the adverts, and a lot. So I would like to take some of these things one by one to explain to us. So branding, I already explained branding the other time, and I wouldn't like to spend too much time on it because I understand that some of us are having project and all other things to deal with. So branding. So like I said, branding is creating a special identity for a person or a company or a business. So branding is creating a special identity. And then we can go to the UI UX concept. So the UI UX, so UI means the user interface, and then UX means the user experience. So this must actually go together in a project, or else um, something will go on. So the UI UX, have you ever imagined why you find it convenient to stay on Spotify, listen to song, and then you can just scroll, or LinkedIn, or Pinterest, all those websites and applications, you find it convenient to stay on them. It is because they've done what I call research, and that research has helped them to be able to know how to structure their things in such a way that people enjoy it, and that is UX. So UX is just telling you that okay, so we want to create a particular site or a particular website. Okay, this is what we need to look out for. Okay, our user, they are between the age of A to Z. They go to XYZ universities. They do this, they do that, they do all those things collect together, and then you now start picturing how the structures to look like, how you want them to communicate with the interface. And then we now go to the UI. Then you now design the whole interface for them. That is the user interface. So the UI, there is a lot of things that comes in the UI. We have the aspects where you do your design in such a way that you guide the users through just by designing, just by doing your work, you guide them. So we'll move to the advertising. So advertising is just like the most common aspects, which are stuff that you see every day on, go to your social medias, you see Microsoft videos, they come and tell you about their Excel, PowerPoint, and all those things. You see all these YouTube ads you see every day. You just see one logo sliding from the left, and then somebody start talking about it. You see posters on, you see flyers on other social medias. You see banners when you are going when you're going home, you see billboards. When you're going home too, you see all those things around. Um, that is the advertising aspect. So without wasting much of our time, we'll go to the introduction to the principles of graphics design. So you would try in this slide, we'll try to understand the principles of graphics design. So they are like organic elements in a layout, or let me say the steps you follow when you're about to build a design. So think of it as you want to build a house. So you want to build a house that somebody will live in. So you have to consider a lot of things first. You have to consider the direction. You have to consider the topology of the land. You have to consider the materials you are going to use, and then you have to build the house in such a way that people will be able to live there conveniently. So that will take us to the C.A.R.P acronyms. But then I would explain more, what's it called? Principles of design that might not be inside this slide. So if you would like, I feel you should jot one or two things down. So we have the contrast, we have the alignment, we have repetition, we have the proximity, we have unity. Yeah, unity is not on this side, on this slide. So I will explain that later. And then, so each of these principles of graphics design, they are very important in such a way that if you take one and leave one, you are definitely going to see the effect. So they help you to convey messages in such a way that the usual does and the reader or the target audience does not just understand what you are saying. They love to to connect with what you are saying. Like they are like magnets that attract people to your design. So I'll take the first one, which is contrast. So already this page of this slide is a perfect example of what contrast is. You can see the white text on the green background, right? So sorry, please. If you have questions, I'm going to leave a section for questions, but I just need to know if you are following. So if you are following me, you can just type in the chat box that you are following. So let me continue. So one of the important things in graphics design is contrast, and then contrast is like contrast is like a person that explains things to you in your design without saying anything. That's the how can I say it? What I want you to imagine it to look like. So contrast, once you apply it to your design, it makes everything you are using on your design stand well. Like the color will pop out properly, your text, your image, everything is going to show properly. So it shows how this design shows how contrast enhance readability. So I would like to dive a little bit inside contrast. So if you look at contrast, contrast makes your design feel alive, and it makes it less difficult to navigate. So under contrast, we have different kind of contrast. So we have the contrast of color, we have the contrast of size, we have the contrast of texture, we have the contrast of image, we have the contrast of, okay, I already mentioned that of texture too. So a perfect example of contrast is the light color comparing to a dark color, or you are using a dark text on a light background. Just look at this black text on this white background in this slide. You see that there is that connectivity. It's not something that you look at and then you have this harsh feeling. There's sometimes that when you see some things, you just feel kind of strange while looking at them. And then contrast in size. Contrast in size helps you to understand hierarchy. It also helps you to understand arrangement. So I would show you some examples. So yeah, I would explain some other contrasts that I've not mentioned. So I would like to start from there. So I bet you all understand what contrast of color means. That is what I have explained on this other slide. This black text and this black text and this white background, this white shape here, and then this dark and green shape, or this white text and this black and this green background. So I will talk on one other contrast that I forgot to mention, which is the contrast of emotion. Now, the contrast of emotion takes a pro level of reasoning to achieve. Now, if you look at this design that has this yellow text that says yes on it, this design is something that has call on it, and then yet it's having this bright color that communicates happy moments, and then even the background, the color of the background is communicating happy moments, and then the text on it is a playful text. Yes, that reminds me. Another thing that I've not mentioned is the contrast of font to contrast of font. Contrast of font is something that is very rare, but I'll take my time to explain it later. So, like I was saying, this has a playful text on it. It has a lovely or a friendly background, but then it has an image that communicates something out of the box. That is contrast of emotion. Now it's like you are saying two things at the same time, because cause actually represents maybe danger or death or something. Now, I will use this other design that looks like this a movie poster. I will use it to explain this contrast of emotion properly so that you understand not just the contrast of emotion and you are going to also understand why people make use of it. So if you look at this poster, they have this image here of images to communicate the contrast of emotion. They have this image that symbolizes love and togetherness, and then this other guy downstairs that is has this expression on his face that shows sadness or bitterness, and then on the eyes they were like a crack that also symbolize broken relationship, broken heart, broken mentality, broken whatever. So now you see that these things they are communicating different things, but then they are being harmonized in the sense that the whole movies is summarizing, or the whole movie and the poster is summarizing what the whole movie is about. That's the sense of contrast of emotion. When you explain that, oh, something is bitter and it is sour. When you taste it, sorry, I said I meant something is sweet and it is sour. When you taste it, the expression of your face is not a smiling one. That sour taste makes you squeeze your face somehow. But then it is sweet. So that is what the contrast of emotion is. So another one I will talk about is the contrast of texture. So we see inside this other design that has this marker on it, you can see that there is a smooth background, and then there is this rough sketches on the background, and then there is this smooth text with there's a smooth text on it. So that is a contrast of texture. We have the rough side of it, and then we have the smooth side of it all together, joined to one single design to communicate a particular thing. Now, I will now take this contrast of texture back to this design to explain why you would want to use contrast of texture. Meanwhile, don't forget what contrast is in reality. Contrast is just something that helps you call attention of people to some particular thing, or shows difference between them. So, and a better explanation of contrast is, you wonder why you are being tricked to buy some things online. Like, it's just like they just called you to come and push that button. It is because you see that that button is standing out different from every other element on the interface. That is contrast. Now, if you look at this design, well, this design is good, but I would have loved it if they have a text on it. So this design is having contrast of a lot of things on it. That's the best way I can explain. So yeah, if you look at this design, we have contrast of color, which is very clear. We have this pinky peach color, we have this white, we have this black colors all over it. And then we have the contrast of shape on this same design, which is, we have these sharp edges, we have these sharp edges, we have these sharp edges, and then we have these curved edges here. We have these curved edges here at the nightclub. So that is contrast of shape. And now we are going to see contrast of texture here. If you check this design, the one I'm hovering over right now, is having a sandy texture. You understand? It's having a sandy texture compared to this, the texture of the shoe that is on it. You will see that they have like a different kind of texture. This is having something like a skin texture or something of such. Now, when you combine all these things together, you see that all those contrasts, they are what makes this design visible, or else you would not even take 2 minutes to look at what is on this design, because why would somebody put a black shoe on a black background? But then there's the contrast that is making it stand out. Lastly, I would take us through this particular design. This one that is here, sorry. This design that is here, and then I would explain, like, go over them again with this design, and then we can move forward. So on this design, this particular one, let me make it bigger so we get to see it properly. Good. So let me go back to presentation mode. So you can see this design. So who can tell us the contrasts that are on this design, this interface? This is a web interface. So this is a UI design. So who can unmute and tell us the contrasts that are on this design? Anybody?
Sir, contract of
Hello? Am I still with you?
hello, sir. Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How a contract of texture, like it has a smooth
Hello?
texture for the color. Sir, contract of
Let's check the.
images and also contract of texture. Is méjì ni ọ̀nà méjì ni
Okay,
contract of.
somebody said contrast of texture. Okay. All right. So, like I said, I wouldn't like to waste our time. So, I'll just go back and explain the contrasts that are on this design. So, the first thing we are going to see on the bigger form of this design, we are going to see this lady standing here. Her clothes, the color on her clothes, the contrast to the pinky background. You have the black, this black shape here. that is carrying a text in it. It's also a contrast to the background. And
David, can
then
you hear me,
we'll,
please?
yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so on the chat box, we have a
All right.
response. Rita said contrast of texture. Dolapo said contrast of color, image, and texture.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. So, well, on this design, well, I would say maybe because it's a screenshot, might not get the view. But then there is, should I say, no or less contrast of texture on this design, but then there is the contrast of color, there is the contrast of shape, and then there is the contrast of image, of course, because if you look at this particular one I'm hovering over, it has a different image, not just a plain background, and then there is the image on it that is the image of a person. So, well, something I want us to see here is that every single element on this design is a contrast. I mean, follows the principle of contrast. You can see all the text that here they are black, all these ones that are here, they are black, they are black, they are black. The contrast with the white that is there. So the same thing with this one, the text, the background, which is black. You can see every single element there having this. And then one of the important place where you have to use contrast is a call to action, price, and some other thing. You can see this buy now there standing out, and then it's making it very obvious that okay, there is a buy now here. And then you can see these prices that are there. Oh, I'm sorry, these discounts that are there that are seeing 10% off. They're in red color, which is a contrast to all the text that have been on this design. So that is contrast of color, contrast of font, contrast of you can look at these icons that are here compared to other shades that are there. So that about contrast. So I will go to the next slide. And then I'll talk about alignment. So on this slide, well, what is alignment actually? So alignment is a very important, um, a very important principle to always follow in design principle, and then it connects the design visually to align or curate order in a design, because literally what alignment means is creating order in a design to enhance professionalism and improve readability. That is what alignment is. If you see this slide now, we have all these texts here, this image, this text, and this text aligned together. Sorry, I just forgot that I promised to explain the contrast of font. Yes. So I said contrast of font is something that is very not that common. So the UI UX designer does that a lot. So when I say contrast of font, I don't mean they are increasing the size. I mean when they have different kind of fonts on a design, which you might say it is out of one of the design principles, which is the consistency. But then this is the way they do it. So there are some fonts that they look alike, that you can't tell the difference between them. I'm not talking about of area and pumping or some other things that are just like clay and like, I mean they look very much similar. So they some situation where they have to have the header to be thick, and then they have this they have the subtext. They have just like I have this one here now, and then this one underneath. So they do something like that, like this importance of visual communication in design. It's going to be in a particular font. Let's say that particular font has the feature to be a bit bold and big, but then there is a similar font that looks exactly the same thing, but does not have that kind of feature, and they use it as this. So this comes in when you have to like go out of the design box. You have to like think outside the box to make your design communicate, and then to form passion, or let me say to create emotion or something that makes the target audience sink to whatever it is you are doing. So I'll continue with the alignment. So like I said, um, alignment is what makes your text, your design accessible. So I'll show us a few examples of alignment. So if you look at this design, see this design. Please, if you can see this design on mute.
Yes, we can see it, sir. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So this, if you can see this design now, you can see that well, though we have nice choice of font. We are doing a contrast here. We are doing a contrast of text too. But then it is not aligned, and this design is not pleasing to anyone that looks at it. So this is the kind of feelings you have when you do a design without remembering the fact that you need to align your design. And then this is an example of the design being properly aligned. So you can see that everything is not passing through this line. And then all these things, they are arranged properly. Now, you notice something else in this text that is here. We This text is not is center aligned. Sorry, let me. This text is center aligned.
The
So, and
bottom
that is
text.
because every. Sorry, I can't hear you.
Sir, do you mean the bottom text?
Exactly. Yes. Can you see my mouse? Can you see the screen very well?
I just saw it.
This text I highlighted.
Yes, yes,
Yes,
yes,
sir, we
yes.
can see it.
All right. So you can see it is center aligned. Yeah. So that's also following that alignment, like given the fact that we've arranged every single element on this design from the beginning to the end to the center. So that's why we could have as well do this to this text. Can you see it now? Hello, can you see it?
Yes, yes, yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir,
All
we
right.
can
Yes,
see it.
So
sir.
so we could have as well do this to this text and then leave the design like that and say and just like tender it that we are done. But then it's not following the principle that we've been following from the beginning, and that will take us to consistency. So I would like to follow my slide though, but then just understand that concept. So I think with this example, we should be able to explain what alignment is. So alignment does not only comes from us putting things in the center. You can see that this particular design is not. You can see we do a left alignment for this, and that follows the text too. You see this text that is here. You see this text that is here that it's also left aligned. So that is that about alignment. So repetition in design strengthen the design let's say the design thought of consistency. I told you about the way we arranged everything to be in the center. And then, okay, a better example is color, repetition in design, color. So, repetition in design, you can see that in this slide now, all the color of the text that we're using, they are either black or white. And that is because we are following a particular color palette. And that is basically what repetition is. So it's as simple as saying you are repeating the same thing, but in a creative way, so that you will not move out of your the concept you are trying to cover. So think of it as, let's say I have this font that's
David.
Ubuntu. I have this one to be Montserrat. I have yes,
Okay, so on YouTube,
yes, yes.
Ibrahim said alignment is a bit confusing compared to
All right.
contrast, sir. So
Okay.
I think you should try to make justification to both alignment and contrast for better understanding.
All right. So I want to get if this person is confusing alignment and contrast together, or the person just needs a more clarification on alignment. So if the person is confusing them together, during the Q&A section, I'll come back to that. But if you need more explanation, I'll go over it again. So, like I said, alignment is like a tools that make your design professional, and then it improves the readability. So think of it as the auditorium in the University of Ilorin. Once you enter the place, you see how the chairs are arranged. It's not like the first set of chairs stay in the middle, and then there's nothing at the back of those chairs again, and then they now want to arrange some other chairs at the extreme corner or at the top, and then everything looks scattered. So that might be a building. It might not be the graphical context, but then you see how unpleasing. If you imagine what I just said, see how unpleasing pleasing the arrangement is going to look like. So that is just the in design. So alignment just means make sure that your design, if you are going to center it, make sure they are all centered and then they are communicating perfectly. If you want them to be at the extreme left, make sure they are at the extreme left. If you want them to be at the extreme right, make sure they are at the extreme right. So you kind of arrange them in such a way that they don't. Okay, I said something about UI design guiding the user's eyes. So if all your designs are like scattered, the user does not know where to look at. So if you now arrange your design in a specific way, that is alignment. Now let me tell you something. You might see other designs that you might think that they are very good and then they are missing out alignment. If there is any uh design like that in your mind, I want you to go back and see that design, and then you will see that there is alignment in a perfect way. Now, I think I get why this person is might be confused by the contrast and the alignment. So, in some cases where user wants you to see, let's say the call to, and sorry, the designer wants you to see the call to action, they might deliberately move the call to action away from the side where everything is aligned to, but then you will see that there is at that same spot that aligns together with everything else, but that element is going to be pointing or directing you to where the call to action button is. So that might be the only thing that might want to convince you, but then alignment is just the same thing as arranging everything to follow a particular pattern so that it will your design is going to be visible. So I don't know if you get what I'm explaining. So I'll go back to repetition, and I think I already explained repetition in the sense that um, using your design elements over and over again so that you have like a consistent, or you have a divine visual design. So that, like I gave the example of fonts, you have a font in your design, then you are using like the same design. You might and the same font, you might split out to use them on different families just to increase the width. But then they are all still the same font. And even if you move out of the font you are using, let's say your header, you need to apply contrast of font in your header, and then your header is different. Your header is Montserrat for an example, and then uh, your body is pumping for an example. So all your bodies, they are going to be pumping. It's not that after reading through your design, see some of the body text that are now going to be Montserrat. No, we will know that your heading is Montserrat, and then your body is what's it called? Is pumping, and then the concept of using different fonts might not go well with you if you are just starting designing. So you might want to stick to the same font. You can use different widths for them just to separate them. But then the max you should use is two fonts. So if the worst comes, you can use three fonts. But if you are using more than three fonts in a design, in fact, the design that will carry a three font has to be something way complex that you cannot do but to just use that three font. So that is it about uh, repetition. So we are going to go to proximity. So and then proximity is let me design proximity in a way that you would remember. So proximity is when you design a particular thing in such a way that there are boundaries for each element. Like you organize your information effectively in such a way that there is no clustering or overcrowded design. So your design is having white space, but not too much of white space. That is what proximity is. So when you like give a boundary to what you are designing, and then something that takes your proximity to another level is the adding of icons and elements, because they do not improve your proximity, they also improve your visual hierarchy. So visual hierarchy in the sense that your the way your design is being arranged, the user or the target audience can easily flow with it. So I will walk out of the slide and show us an example. You can see this design. So this design, I choose this design because it has these lines that shows the boundaries so that it will be easy to explain. If you look at this design, we have this particular company's name there, and then we have the about our company here. We have the image here. We have few text on the image. We have this cover here. We have the all the covers arranged here. We have the service arranged here. Please, if you cannot see the screen, please tell me so that let me just make it bigger. Okay, so let me go over it again. I said we have the company's name here, we have the about our company, we have the core value all here, we have the image here, a few text on it, we have the mission statements, we have it here, and then we have the services here. We have the I would say call to action here, which is get in touch with us via the website. Now, if you look at this design, it's not that when we have the core values here, we now come and have another core values, part of the core value. Let's say this integrity, come and have it here. Or we allow the integrity to come and stay here at the top of our service. They are arranged in such a way that everything has their place and they are staying right there in their space. They are not, it's not like to life by adding not just proximity and also adding visual hierarchy or guiding the user's eyes. So I'll go back to this slide and show us a particular example. So if you look at this design that I'm about to show us, okay, I need it to load completely. There are images here, there are images here. But the whole point of trying to show us this design is that uh they 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 guide the user eyes in such a way that when you are looking at it, you see all these elements that makes you read all these texts, and then all these elements that makes you read all these texts, and then they guide you back to understand the urgency that is this design is about. So is someone trying to say something? All right. So you see the way all these elements come to this place, and then they try to make you see the urgency. So that's what I mean by when you have some particular elements to your design, they do not just enhance your proximity, they also enhance the visual hierarchy. So sorry. So the bad design and the good design. These are just text. I'll find a way to get this slide to us so that if you need it, you might go through it. So we might get to see good design is talking about the visual hierarchy, talking about it being clear, talking about the layout and most other things, and then comparing it to a bad design. So, like I said, I at this point, I would not like to bore us with too much of text or too much of word. I'd rather show us examples so that we know the way all these things work in real life. So I'll show us this design, and then we can relate the good design and the bad design to the previous example that I've showed us. So we'd see the previous example that I showed us about the alignment. We can compare those two designs together. I might bring the picture up again after this example. So if you look at this design, they are saying the same thing, right? They are saying the same thing. But then if I will ask you, please, I want you to unmute and talk this time around. If I will ask you, which design would you pick between these two? Please unmute and
I will
talk.
go for the male design, the one that has the male figure.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Any other person?
The male one, sir.
All right. All right. Thank you. So if you look at this design, I'll tell you what make you or let me say, okay, well, you already explained. I think somebody already explained that because it is simple and then it is better. So I'll tell you what makes you not like this design. This design contains all the information you need to know about technology and innovation. This particular design, the one with the cartoonish woman with a VR on her face. I mean, this design shows all the illustration you need to know to understand this. But then the world has gone beyond designs that have all the elements telling you every single thing that you need to know about a design. Now there is a popular saying that everybody says about design. They say more is and they say less is more. And that's just what this design is explaining. Now we can see all these icons. We can see this. We can see all this. We can see the text trying to communicate tech and innovation. We can see the time here. We can see the social handles and all that. But then this particular designer came and said, why all the information where we can just put one person with the VR and then give them a background abstract that complete that communicates to them
Sorry,
and then
David.
give them the fonts that communicate and then give them the
Hello.
dates and everything they need and then the design is simple and it is well arranged. Now if you look at this design you will see another alignment here, everything being brought to the center. And then here you see on the other design to this one, the old one that you would not like to also add some also add alignment to here. So that's alignment in design. So then, so that explains to you that that explains to you that the fact that a design is good might not make it the best choice because there are still design that are the best. They are not just good; they are the best. So that I think this example should encourage us to try and be more productive and more creative when we are trying to design anything. So and then I already showed us a totally bad design compared to a good design, which is the alignment design that the design that used to explain alignment, that Asian model picture that I showed you the other time. So let me not waste our time. Let's just continue the slide. So we've talked about
Sorry, David. A
okay, let me
minute, please.
ask it as a question. So can somebody tell us all the elements that we've talked about today? Can somebody unmute and list
David,
all the elements that we've talked about today? Anyone? Hello,
David, can you
Hi.
hear me, please?
hello.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Yes,
Okay,
we
so
can.
good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay, good afternoon.
Okay, we spoke about branding. We spoke about the meaning of graphic design, the branding. That means identifying
Sorry,
what
sorry,
your house,
sorry.
sir.
Can you just list the principles that we talked about, starting from
We
contrast?
talked about contrast.
We
Okay,
talk about the types of contrast.
all right.
Okay, we have color contrast, size,
Okay,
image, emotion, contrast, texture, shape, and auto contrast of shade. The was
okay,
which involve connecting the design visually,
all
yes,
right.
or is a tool that makes your design to be professional and
Okay,
communicating your design perfectly. They also
okay,
spoke about the examples of design, which are the flyers, the website, the product packaging, and the social media and the rest.
okay,
So move to proximity that involves organizing your information should not be too clustered. Yeah, so ability to arrange your information very well. Let me leave it for other people to talk and repetition of design.
all right, all right.
Yeah, not
Thank you very
repeat
much.
the same color that is it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So, any other person wants to say anything? All right. Like I said, I don't want to waste our time. So, um, what I did was I initially planned to just run us through all the stories, all the talking, all the text, and everything, and I'll start showing us practical ideas. We should go through the real practical stuff as we are explaining them. So we've gone through this particular process. So and then I think from the person that has spoken to us, I think we already understood this number two key goals of the week. We already understood the principles of design. So as a bonus, I will explain one particular contrast that I deliberately omitted, which is the contrast of movement, and that applies to um, one of the types of graphics design that I mentioned, which is the motion. So the motion graphics, if you've seen some of these advert videos online, you will notice that anything that moves is what they want you to like pay too much attention to. I've seen a motion, or what's it called, a flyer at motion. Okay, so I'll just take us through the other objective that says we should design a layout on Canva. So I'll take us through that, and then I would use that to explain the aspect of um, the motion contrast. So that would make us understand it better. So I will open a new tab and then create a new design. Just use some existing design page. So you have to give me some time to set up some things. Okay. So please, can you see my screen before I start?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we are going to use Canva. Canva is a common tool for design. It is used to design a lot of things. Just think of it, a lot of things. So, but then we have other designs. We have the Figma, we have Canva, we have After Effects. Sorry, After Effects is far more. We have the Illustrator. That's what I want to mention. We have the Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator. We have the Adobe Photoshop. So those are the common design tools that are more online tools that you might just come across at any time. So But then the easiest to access and to make use of is the Canva, because you can always get the Canva on your browser. You can just type canva.com and then you are there on your browser. So as we move on in this class, we are going to be creating more designs from, I would say, from the scratch, which I hope would also do today. So, but then in this section, I just want us to understand the like setting up a design layout. So, I would have loved to use an existing design, but then I would not dwell too much on that. So, um, you can actually let me just explain to you the better way of in case of just because of people that are not access Canva before for a design tool. So I'll take you through the process of creating a new design from an existing template, and then if time permits us, I will take you through the process of creating a design from scratch. Yes, from scratch. So can you still see my screen?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, so this is canva.com, and then this is a plain page. So you can decide to go for templates. So once you click template, you are going to see different kind of designs. And so if you want a presentation slide, you can see this is a presentation slide, a poster, a resume, email, logo, flyer, all kind of things. So you can just scroll down and pick something. So let's say I want to pick something very simple just for the start. So this is we are hiring. Let's take this. It's not having too much of information on it, so it won't take our time. So once you click it, it brings you to this page, and then you click customize this template. So now you have this design. So what I'm about to teach you is the interface of Canva, mainly just the things that are on it, and then how to make somebody else design yours. So I'm not saying you should just like pick somebody designer, but then
David,
how to, yes, make it ours. So already we might decide to come here to this side. You can see if you decide to change your template, you can come here to pick more templates that looks very similar to this. Yeah, and then we can come here to elements. So what you do here is in elements is we pick like I say element. We pick substance that we might use for our design. So as we go further, I would like to interact with us with Canva and show other facilitators might get to use some other application like Photoshop and maybe Illustrator. Use Canva. I would use Figma also.
Correct draw.
Yes, there is CorelDRAW too. Yes, there's CorelDRAW. Yes. So people, I might see. Okay, so this is what will happen. I'll take after this class. I'll speak to other facilitators. I'll see what softwares they are going to use. So I'll pick the ones nobody is speaking, and then we'll be able to go over it. But then be sure that I am definitely going to take us through Canva, and then probably Figma too, and after photo. Sorry, Illustrator, yes. So on this page, you can see elements, you can see the shapes. This is the usual shape. Graphic, this is where we pick elements like icon, illustrations, and all that elements. We have the animations. Well, nothing really much about this. It's just for motion graphic. So which we are definitely going to come back to. And then we have the videos. If you need a video, we have audio, we have the charts. If you need that also work for video too. If you need a chart for your design, this is more complex. And then we have the mock-ups just for you to showcase some of your designs, especially when you do a logo and some other things like that. We have the spreadsheets, we have the tables too. Sorry. And here we have the text. So you get to select subheading. I'll use the H1, the H2, and the H3. So you get to you can add a brand font if you want to customize the way you design. So all you have to do is click add the brand font, you click your title, pick the font, you click the subtitle, you pick the font, the size, and everything. So you customize this all by yourself if you want. So back to text. So I think that's all. Yes, you can get to do all these things. Well, by the way, this is a pro version of CapCut. So uh, there will be some things that I might be able to make use of, and then it might not be available. So like that of customizing a brand kit that I said it's future. But then just for you to know. So you get to pick some older templates here too for your text, depending on what you want. And then this is the upload. So this is where you come and put all your elements that you need to design whatever you need to design. You can see I have this cursor, I have this texture, I have this abstract image, I have this all these things. You can see some of the things that you can see in my slides today. There. Yeah, so I upload them there and then I drag them straight. Once I click them, they appear on the design. So then we move to the tools. So this is the select tools. This is the drawing tools, your usual drawing tools. We have the shapes. You pick your shape. There are quite a number of shapes here. You have the line. You can use your line for dotted line, straight line, connection, curve, all those things. Then we have all these. I don't really make use of these, but then they are just for you to add some set of designs and put text on there. So that is it. And then we have the text again coming right here. So as for the text, once you click the text here, a text pop out on your screen, and then you get to edit it and do whatever you like with it. So that's the table. You can pick a table too, and then your table forms here, and then you're able to make use of it. So and then we have the project. So this helps you to go back to all the projects that you've opened before. So you can click all quite a number of designs that you've done in Canva before. So that's more projects. And then we have apps. So Canva actually gives you opportunity to connect with some other apps, not totally for free. Some of them are paid. And then a feature that have been added since they noticed that the space of graphics is changing. So produced this. So you get to generate some of your elements here with AI. So I can just type a particular thing here and then I generate it. So so it's going to keep generating. Let's just navigate through other things. Okay, now you can see generate the image of a man. So I asked it to generate a man. So you can use this in any of your designs. So we have the photo. You can just pick pictures here for your backgrounds and all other things. You have the sound if you need to use sound. I'm really going to take us through the use of sounds to later. And then we have some other things that are there. So all these ones that are from these charts, from AI voice down here, they are the number of apps that I've made use before that, then they are staying here. So now that we've seen some other things, so let's go straight to customizing the design. So we might want to make use of leave this logo here. Yes, so creating a new logo might take time. So let's say we would need to customize the text and maybe change the color a bit. Changing the color, then we need to be smart about that. So I'll still stick to the blue color, trying to make it communicate almost the same thing. So I would only change it slightly. So we mind the use of color too, like I said. So we like to retain white since we are retaining their color. So it's just now you just have access to the design. You can change all the text. You can change all the text. You can decide to change the font. That okay, I don't want this font. I want this font. You get to change anything you like on the design. You can add more elements to it. You can you can come to the elements. You can decide to add. You can just search the elements here or pick elements. So I can say email, and then I pick a icon for email here. I bring it down here. You can decide to scale it, and then let's say this is your mail. You put it beside it. Try not to make it visible. So once you are done, remember what I said about alignment. You make sure it is properly aligned. So you go to position here and then you pick middle. So as for middle, it makes it on a straight line. If you put center, you are going to stand on each other. If you want it to stay at the extreme left, you have it here. At the extreme right, you have it here. So you have that. So mind you, be careful about your font, your choice of icon. So this does not really go well to with this particular design. But for the sake of time, I'll just leave it that way. So we might actually go for that to change a whole lot of things here. We can decide to change this color just to make it look different from what it was. We might decide to change this to okay. So if you decide to change the color, we are going to fall out of the contrast that has been existing there. So I might just leave this color here and then I might change this one to something that pops. Let's see. Okay, so for this element, we are not allowed to make use of what's it called a gradient. So I might just change this to this particular color. So and I'll tell you one of the reasons why I have to change some of this color. So in some cases, you might not be able to click some elements through. So you can just come to this position and then you go to the layout. The layout, you're able to see it here, and then you click it, you do your changes. So we picked a color that pops out on this design, but it's we are doing that on a very small element, not the biggest, because this background, and then you need to be careful with the set of colors that you pick so you don't fall out of the contrast, and then everything will not be pleasant to look. But then I deliberately pick a very different set of colors I've been using so that this this sign, this this sign, this star comes out. So already, if I see this flyer, I know that the kind of graphics design that these people are hiring is not the kind of graphics design that is in the old age. Somebody that is involved, he can make use of varieties of tools, most especially use AI to generate elements, content, so whatever it is that is needed. So that way, this is passing its knowledge and then it is clear. So I can decide to change some of the text that are here. So all you have to do is just click through, type it, leave it, and then you delete this one and change it with it. Then yeah, and then I can change my color, make sure it is not this, and then I can change my color to white so that it pops out well on it. So really, that's all. So you might decide to change everything on this design if you like. Yes, I might decide to delete every single thing that is on this design. I might decide to now bring in my background from maybe as an image or decide to design my own background myself. Let's say I want something minimal, something not too much. I decide to do this. Let's say because I don't want something too much, just pick a color that has gradients, or I decide to design my own gradients by myself. Just click this add new color, and then I come to change any of this color to whatever I like. And then like that, I have my gradients ready. And then we are done with the design, making it as so I decide to also change this. I decide to also change this color too. It is okay with the way it is, but then it might be going too much darker. So I might decide to edit it and make it like a little bit. And while doing that, I'm trying to make sure it does not blend with the color that is here. So it's a bit clearer than before now. So we can decide to change all these ones to white so that they get to show very well on the design, or we can still just pick a brighter color of whatever it is that is there. So that way we are done making this design different from what it is. So like I said, I didn't really want to take much of our time. if you are really recustomizing a person's design, I would advise you to take out a lot of elements, even if possible, change the font, uh, use bring in different kind of concepts. You might bring uh, images,
parí
you might bring images to this design.
ọ̀rọ̀ wọn gan kẹ́ ẹ̀ nítumọ̀ kí wọ́n má kàn ní èèyàn negligence ó máa tóbi tí a
So you might decide to bring to it, or maybe just change the position and put it somewhere here. Try to make it smaller. So the thing is, this chair is not really serving its purpose here, but I decided to leave it just to add more design concepts to it. But okay, let me just do the next one. So I might get to move every other element from this place by holding shift and selecting every single element that I want to move at the same time. So I'll move all these elements forward. So the chair might upward. So the chair might have a space to stay. I think we forgot this little brother. So I go back to the position and do this. Yeah. So I might decide to add elements here. So I would advise you to pick I would advise you to pick your elements from images in this kind of situations. So I decide to send it to the extreme back actually. Decide to send it to the extreme back and then change the color so that let's see if that works. Let's change the color so that this sits well on it. So the thing is, okay, I would have to change the color again. I forgot to how to blend it with this. So let's take a light version of color. That's it well with this or something like this properly. So the thing is, if I keep checking through this design, I would change a lot of things and I might be there until it is very dark. So yes, the 3D element is something that is new and I would like us to what's it called, to experiment. So the 3D element, you might decide to add this 3D element opportunity to spin around it and turn it to whatever you like. So make it face whatever space you want. And then make it feel intentional and life. So the essence of making use of a 3D object is to bring your design to life, the textual aspect of it, to make it look like something somebody can touch. Well, this design is really not great. I might not settle down with this kind of design, but just to make you understand the concept of what's it called, design principles. So and majorly trying to navigate around this particular app. I might get to leave it like this. So we won't waste our time. But my advice is for this kind of design, you might want to rearrange this whole text in a different way so that you would have a clear space for this chair and it will not stand really strange to you. So, but then I know some people might want to why pick a chair for the image illustration. Well, if you have been looking into hiring designs, one of the things they use is chair, not this kind of chair, a office chair actually, a office chair. But then I think this is one of the most available 3D objects that I have, so I can use this to make the perfect example. So that is all about the um, turning a design to yours. So, by the grace of God, in the next class, we would explore Canva the more, and then we would be able to follow some other things in design that I might not mention. So, the next class, we are going to go through the color theories and then typography. So, I might end up coming back to the same design that I showed us today and see how we can make it something special. So I would love to give us a little assignment. So I want us to I want us to do a little form of Canva design, just like I did, transform something. Make sure you pick a very simple element, just do a little tweaking. And even if you like, you might leave the tweaking. So what I want you to do is now you now take the picture, you take it inside a document, and then underneath it, you are going to write the way you observe the principles of design. And I just want you to write only that of the contrast, the alignment, the repetition, and proximity. Just those four. So that will be your assignment. So now we go to the question and answer section. So if you have any questions, you can ask. If you have any question, if you're on Zoom, you can unmute and ask. If you're on
Hello,
YouTube, you
sir.
can ask a question.
All
Hello,
right.
sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. David, for the insightful presentation. So now we'll be
Sir,
taking
please
the question. And if you have any
explain the
question, you can drop in the comment section or you unmute your mic to speak.
sir. Thank you so much, sir. Really appreciate it for the lectures that you have given us. Sir, I want to ask that can you repeat the assignment because I don't understand what the assignment is. Actually.
Okay, so the assignment is that you do what we've done here today, like the way we picked this design in Canva. So you can pick any design. So now I'm giving you the privilege of either tweaking the design to suit what you want, or you leave the design the way it is. But then what I want you to do is inside that design, you are going to list the principles that are followed, the principles that are followed inside the design. So, and the principles that I want you to list, they are just in contrast, alignment, uh, repetition, and then proximity. Just look out for those four things inside the design, and then state it under, like you're going to state it inside a document, and then you take the picture of that design. Sorry, let me explain to you how to download the picture from Canva. So you go to this Canva now, this particular picture. If I want to download it, I either go to file, come down here, select download, and then I can download it as PNG, and then I can download it as PNG, any other format I want to use to download it. I can download it that way, and then I'll press download, and then it loads here, and then it downloads to my PC. So you can see it's downloading. So I already have this design here. So what you now do is that you take this design, you import it inside your document. You open a document space, you import it, you want to import it. Then underneath the image, so you now write the what's it called? You now write the principles of graphics design that are followed inside that design that you pick. And then I do not want you to go beyond uh, the contrast, alignment, the repetition, and then the proximity. So do you get? Hello? Answer your
Yes, sir.
question. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I'll just stop sharing my screen. So
So,
anyone else?
David,
Please? Yes?
a question on the chat box says, what about the complexity of operating those designs app? Please, we would appreciate if they are put into consideration.
Okay. So the complexity. So what I'm telling you to do is do the same thing that we've done here today. And I think I have explained how to navigate Canva. I don't want you to use any other design app. Just use the one that we've used here today. So as the class goes on, people will come to teach you some other what's it called? Some other application, how to navigate through them, and I will also pick some other applications and how to navigate through them. But then today, that's what I want you to do, and then you import it inside a document and list out the stuff there. So if you don't understand any, let's say you don't understand the particular way to navigate, you can ask your exact questions and then I will explain.
No. So another question is, what is the difference between contrast of size and contrast of shape, sir?
Okay, so contrast of size and contrast of shape. So let me share my screen again. Okay, so if we look at this, if we look at this particular design, let's take the one we used as an
Mr.
example.
David, you have
So
less
can you
than
see?
6 minutes, and you have a very
All right,
important question on YouTube which says explain proximity again, just briefly, sir. So within six
okay.
minutes, would appreciate if you can make justice to those questions. Thank you.
All right, so I will explain both of them together right now. So this is the person has the contrast of size and the contrast of shape. So this is the contrast of size. We can see IRA here comes out, and then graphics design is smaller than IRA. So that's contrast of size. When you increase one particular element in your design so that people will be able to see it. Can see no matter how far it is, once anybody opens this, it's just size. That's just the contrast of size. Then the contrast of shape, like I explained, I showed us a particular example here that the designer made use of squared shape designs, and then he made use, and then there is the curved shape design. Yes, this particular design. So yeah, this person is using a very sharp shape design. All these things they are sharp shape. They have the sharp edges, and then this particular shoe is having a curved edge, and then this logo is also having a curved edge. That's contrast of shape. When you have something, let's say you have been designing, let's say this kind of design now, you have been using this, and then in a particular point, you need to call a very crucial attention to a particular button. And then instead of using a sharp edges button, you use a rounded button, a round shape button, or you just like make use of a pointer to that same uh that pointer is like a different shape from what has been shown. So people will look at the pointer and then they follow the pointer straight to what you're calling their attention to. So that is contrast of shape. I hope I'm able to understand that and explain that. Sorry. So and then proximity. I'm coming. So as for proximity, I said proximity is like when you design, when you lay out boundaries for your design, like you group your designs together and then you arrange them in such a way that they maintain their lane. You see, yeah, when we have core values, all these texts, they are together with the core values. They are not moving outside the environment that has been created for it. This picture is not extending to core values, and then this uh, our complaint about our complaint is not extending to either where the picture is standing or where value is standing. I think you get what proximity is now. So proximity is more like you are shaping your design in such a way that everybody takes their place. Just look at it. The way the VC has his office, the registrar has his office, your lecturers, they all have their offices, your classroom. So that's just proximity. So I hope I answered that question. So any other question?
No, for now, no other questions again.
Sorry, any other question? Okay, so we'll call it a day from here. So I hope you've all learned one or two
I
things from today. Yeah, who's that?
Okay, Baraka, do you want to say something?
Yes, ma.
Okay.
Sorry,
Okay,
ma. For those who do not have laptop, can we use our phone?
Yes, you can make use of your phone. You can make use of your phone.
okay, sir.
So the navigation is not different. So you can make use of your phone. If there's anything you don't understand, so I'll get to explain that.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Right.
All right.
So
Thank you very much, David, for that insightful and engaging section on introduction to graphic design and design principles. I believe, okay, Owolabi promise, you are raising your hand.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Good
yeah,
evening.
good evening.
I just wanted to ask him that, like, is there like a deadline for the submission of the assignment?
Okay, so we're having this class again next week Friday. So try and submit before the class next week Friday. Before next week Friday class, try and submit before the class.
All right.
Or try and submit before Friday, yes, because they might have to compile you. So just try and submit Friday. So I would say Thursday is the deadline. Next week Thursday is the deadline.
Okay, sir. Thank you. And are we sending it to the group?
You will be communicated on how to submit the assignment.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right.
So, thank you once again, David. The class has been engaging and insightful as well. And I believe the knowledge shared today has given us a clearer understanding of how graphic design goes beyond just visual, but also involve creativity, structure, and purposefully communication. We truly appreciate you for taking the time to share your expertise and practical insights with us today. So on this note, everyone who joined this section and stayed actively engaged, asking questions, dropping on both YouTube and Zoom, we appreciate each and everyone for the full participation because this is what makes the section more impactful. So as we conclude today's class, we encourage everyone to reflect on the principles shared and begin to observe how design influences communication around us every day. And for the submission, it will be communicated on the group as well. Once again, thank you to our facilitator and to all participants. So we'll be ending the class now. See you in the next class. Thank you, everyone.